Welcome back in, folks. This is JE Live. We're doing 5 in a row. We're on a hot streak. I'm not the only one that's mentioned that. I'll get the comment thing working and I'll prove it to you that I'm not the only one that has mentioned that. Welcome in. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Friday. Not just because those both start with F, but for real, I hope everyone's having a great Friday. We are here, we are back, and we are ready to go. So let's get into it. See, I'm not the only one that's noticed this. Jake, hot streak. That's a big deal, especially for me. As you guys know, I'm a man of consistency, or at least a man of somebody that wants to be consistent and prefers consistency. So it's big that we get back on this train. What's up, Rams fan? How we doing? Yeah, so like I said, the last four, you guys ask questions, I'm going to answer them. Until we have legitimate news to talk about, there's not really going to be a full-on focus on one specific topic, which is why I love JE Live so much, because those videos that I do, they're very focused, right? Videos are focused. They have a focus. They have a plan. I have my process I go through before I do a video. I even have my thumbnail already made before I even film a video. But when it comes to live streaming, I just want to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I mean, to be honest with you. Julio, have you seen the boys' latest episode? Yes, Herogasm was fire. I understand how crazy that sounds. It is exactly what you're thinking, for those of you that are asking. However, there were people that were complaining that it wasn't too explicit, and to that I say, I think you guys need to fix that mind of yours. I mean, I think you're looking in the wrong spot. If you went into Herogasm, The Boys episode 6, season 3 on Amazon Prime, hoping for a straight up pornographic film, that's not what you were going to get. Like, so I I don't get it with people, man. You give them a little bit of an inch and they're going to take a mile. And so yeah, I don't know, but it was pretty crazy. The episode was nuts. A lot more to it than just the hero gasm aspect of it. But it was well done, good, and it was I think, I don't want to say tastefully done because that's not the right word, but it was done and it furthered the story. So if you guys have never seen The Boys before, highly recommend that. Great show. Who's more likely to land? Mayfield, Panthers, Seahawks, or other? I'm gonna say Seattle. I'm going to say Seattle here. I think when you look at the Panthers, for whatever reason, they did not go and draft a quarterback until later on. And I think they got a kid in Corral that could end up starting sooner than later. If Darnold struggles, I think they'll just give him the nod. So I'm not necessarily sold on the Panthers, but Seattle, I don't know. I mean, you got Drew Lock, who I was pretty high on, and it sounded like they were high on, and he's not even going to win the reps over Geno Smith. That tells me that Baker Mayfield would probably win that starting job, and probably makes the most sense. Plus, you have the receivers that they have, and that escapability and that ability to extend the play. I know I knock Baker a lot, but he definitely still has traits that are valued in this league. And so, if he's throwing to guys like DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and, Bo Melton and D. Eskridge and, all those guys, Freddie Swain, then, yeah, I think he's got enough around him where he might be able to carve out something. So, I think Seattle is the best option there. I don't know where he's going to go, but I think Seattle is probably the best option. What's up, Ricky? How we doing? They made fun of Gal Gadot video. Oh, that was amazing. And I really like Gal Gadot, don't get me wrong. But when they made fun of the Imagine video, that was great. That was absolutely great in The Boys. They were making fun of the fact that during COVID, like, they had that Imagine, all those celebrities that were singing Imagine and acting like the world wasn't in a bad spot and just like, oh, yeah, well, and it was really, the way it was kind of taken by a lot of people is that during that point, everyone's hurting from COVID, everyone's lives are changing, people are losing their jobs, and then you just see a bunch of celebrities singing Imagine in this video. It felt like they wanted the attention to be on them. Obviously, I don't know everyone's intentions, but that was kind of how it was perceived by the outside world. And I thought it was funny that the boys made fun of it. The boys, if you guys like comedy, but you like action, if you like the idea of them, like this idea of making fun of everything, not just the left, not just the right, not just the middle, not just, all sorts, like all sorts of races, all sorts of policies, all sorts of political ideologies. It just kind of brings you together, I guess, if you really look at it in that way. And I think the boys does a really nice job of just making fun of everything from the MCU, the DCEU. It's just really funny. So definitely check it out. It's not for kids, so I'll just say that if you're under the age of 18, I don't know if you should necessarily be watching it. It is very graphic, but it's very well done, and Amazon's really killing it over on Amazon Prime. Happy birthday to Erin Moriarty. She is fantastic in The Boys. She plays a character called Starlight. And yeah, I won't spoil too much of it. Definitely just check it out. I've now recommended this show multiple times on this platform, so definitely do yourself a favor and do that. Also do yourself a favor, at least me a favor, and hit the thumbs up button. Once we keep getting those likes up, YouTube's going to send people in here to check this thing out and see what's up. So if you could do that for me, would really appreciate that. Also, if you do like this channel, for whatever reason, maybe you just forgot to hit that big red button. I'm not, blaming you. I'm not throwing you under the bus or anything. But now's your chance. If you do like this channel, you want to see more of me, be sure to hit that subscribe. I gave you the thumbs up, but I guess that would be more for the like. But yes, hit the subscribe button if you will. And also interact. Like if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. So let's get into this. Darren, please bring Baker to the trenches. Bosa and AD will cut his career in half. Yeah, that would be bad. Poor Baker. Who do you think lands Kyrie? So I'm not gonna say the Lakers. I know some people think I'm going to. I'm not going to say the Lakers. I think, and call me crazy, but I'm looking at Baker and totally threw me off in the comment section. I think Kyrie is going to end up on the Clippers. I think they're going to figure out a way to get Kyrie. I think everyone's going to crown them. I think everyone's going to go crazy about them because they have, oh my God, they have Kyrie, they have Kawhi, they have Paul George, they have this and that and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, I still don't think they're going to win a title. I don't think they'll get to the Western Conference Finals, and that'll be that. So, good. Enjoy Kyrie, but I don't think they're going anywhere with that. What's up, Darren? Who wins at a 40-yard dash, Jake or Matt Gay? Isn't Matt Gay like incredibly athletic? I thought he was. I'm gonna check out his 40 time here, and I can tell you if it's okay. He never ran the 40 time. Interesting. That's interesting. He never ran the 40. I'm gonna say Matt Gay, and I'm Jake, so I'm just being straightforward here. I wouldn't place any bets on my speed. I'm fast when you're a normal person. Like if you're not an athlete and I raced you, I could probably beat you. But I'm not going up against an athlete and beating him. It's just not happening. I ran, I think, a 4.8 or a 4.9. I don't even remember what it was, but I did get a time. It was like a 4.8, I think. So Jared Goff, I think, was about the same speed as me. The more you know. Celebrities out of touch. What's new? Pretty much. They live in their own little world. Not all of them. Not all of them. Not hating on all of them, but some of them definitely do. Any Ram trade rumors out there today, Jake? Nothing that I have heard of. Pretty much the same thing. We talk about Robert Quinn here and Saquon Barkley here, although I think Robert Quinn is actually somewhat possible, whereas I don't think the Rams are trading for a running back. There's no need. I would never do that in a million years, and I hope to God the Rams win. I love Saquon, but I would not do that. Jake, about to call you Booker T hitting us with that 5-time stream this week. Well, let's see if we can make it 6 tomorrow. We'll see. Marshall Faulk is the greatest Ram of all time. In my opinion, he has elite breakaway speed. He could stiff arm truck somebody if need to. and he's arguably the best receiving back of all time. I would also say he is, pretty much having another quarterback on the field. Incredibly smart, would make his own adjustments at the line of scrimmage, sometimes would beat out Warner. They just absolutely loved him. And keep this in mind, as important as Kurt Warner was, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, all of that, the Rams did not start making that turn, obviously with Warner, but they didn't start making that turn in addition to that until they traded for Marshall Faulk. So keep that in mind. That trade for Marshall Faulk was huge in getting the greatest show on turf, up in the air and rolling. What did you think of the Max Christie pick? Yeah, so I looked at it. I didn't know too much about him coming in, except the fact that I had apparently watched him a lot because I did watch a lot of Michigan State games. I just didn't really know the players. More betting purposes, knew the team well, didn't really know the actual personnel. You'll never find me doing that in the NFL. I know most of the guys on the team, and that's just not the case. But in basketball, you'll see me do that from time to time. Max Christie is a guy that can help you on both sides. Really a 3-and-D specialist here. He's going to be able to help you right away as a guy that can just kind of just sit there in the corner and hit shots. I don't expect him to play a ton, but the Lakers did covet him. He's somebody that they targeted. And while he was expected to go mid second round, the Lakers felt like if they, got a pick in, say, around the 30 to 35 range, they'd be able to scoop him up. And they didn't feel like it was a reach. And, kind of looking back at it, really wasn't a reach. So that was really the pick. Made sense. He fills the need. And, it's a guy, they get another wing. I think that's what they were looking for. So not bad. They also added Scottie Pippen's kid. They added the one kid, I forget, from Syracuse, and then they added the guy that I really like, Sharif O'Neal, who just, sometimes college doesn't work out for guys, right? College didn't work out for me just academically. I mean, I did well my first semester, but then it just wasn't for me. Like, I dropped out and all that. But college is not for everyone is my point. And I do feel like Sharif O'Neal might have benefited going to the NBA earlier, might have benefited going overseas, playing overseas, kind of like a LaMelo, LiAngelo situation, and that is kind of the thing there. So I understand he transferred, went to LSU and then UCLA, didn't really get like a huge opportunity there. So with an NBA coaching and seeing him in the actual summer league, this is his opportunity. I think Shaquille O'Neal's son is talented. It's not just his name. Like, this guy can play, and I'm very excited to see him in the summer league for sure. Kyrie and Kawhi both want short seasons. That could work. My guy. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Kyrie. I'm definitely not. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, Marshall Faulk was a great blocker. You got your money on me over Matt Gay running the 40? Well, I won't let you down, I hope. If that ever comes to fruition, we'll see. I understand that you believe that Tutu Atwell will have a role this year, but the lack of targets available has been highlighted by Tyler Higbee's lack of production. How exactly do you see him playing? Great question, Nolan. So, essentially, I see Tutu Atwell being the fourth receiver. I don't see him necessarily taking over Tyler Higbee's targets, but I think he'll be in competition. And I think when you look at what Tutu Atwell can do, they will be able to utilize him in different ways. I would actually love to see him in the backfield, and that's what I expect the Rams to do. Kind of mix and match. Play him on the outside, play him in the slot, play him in the backfield by himself, playing him in the backfield split back with a Cam Akers or Darrell Henderson paired with him. Maybe running even a three-back set with him in there. I do think they're going to utilize him in the running game, and I do think it's the right approach. You want to take him and use his abilities, and sometimes it's not pretty, right? He was a true receiver at Louisville, doesn't get enough credit. No, he wasn't Tavon Austin. Go and watch the tape. I'm telling you, he had way more receiver level traits than Tavon. Tavon was more of a gadget altogether. You talk about a Percy Harvin, you talk about somebody like that. That was what Tavon Austin was. Whereas I kind of get, the Deshaun Jackson vibes out of Tutu Atwell. Very similar, shorter guy. Deshaun Jackson fell in the second round. That is kind of the vibe I'm getting. Him, Donnie Avery, guys that weren't just burners, but are also good receivers and aren't just a gadget guy, so to speak. So with that said, since I don't think Tutu Atwell is a gadget guy, or since I do think Tutu Atwell is somewhat of a gadget guy, but I also think he's really good as a receiver. I think he has that ability. He's not Tavon, but I do think if you're trying to get a guy involved in the offense and there's not a lot of opportunities, then you sometimes have to sacrifice that. And I think Tutu will take anything that he can do to help the team. He's helped them on special teams. Didn't get any opportunity to play on the offense. I think he'll do whatever he can to get offensive snaps. So at the end of the day, I do expect Tutu Atwell to have carries, and that'll be in my projection video. And I do expect him to have receptions as well. He'll be the 4th receiver this year. And I think they're going to wait a little bit on Jacob Harris. I could absolutely be wrong. And I'm very high on his overall ceiling and potential, and I think he's going to meet that someday. But I think right now, I've kind of checked my attitude at the door as opposed to last year where I was, comparing him to Megatron. Of course, athletically speaking, not really, like what he would be. But athletically, he is like a carbon copy of Megatron. Just the thing is, he only played football for 2 years. He was a soccer guy. So he's got to learn the position. He's got to learn at an NFL level. I think that it will take time. And so for that reason, I'm going to go with Tutu Atwell, who showed you the ability to run NFL level routes at Louisville and was arguably held back. And a lot of yards were on that field, left on that field, because of the lack of quarterback play and production in his last year. So that is my thoughts on Tutu Atwell, why I think he's going to have a bigger role this year. Some people may disagree, but I do think as well as I like the running game the way it is, I like Cam Akers, I like Darrell Henderson, I like Kyron Williams, but I do think he is going to be utilized in that running game because it's a different type of body. It's a different type of runner. It's harder to bring down guys when you don't know their tendencies. And the Rams can mix and match what they want to do. Teams are going to be like, all right, we're reading the scouting report. They're going to go with Cam here. We know they're going to go with Cam here. They go with Darrell Henderson. You don't know how to stop Henderson. Now all of a sudden you figure out Henderson and you got to worry about Kyron, who runs completely different than Henderson and Cam Akers. And then on top of that, once you figure out how to stop Kyron, now you have to worry about Tutu Atwell. And you could start to see how if Sean McVay can mix them up well, it's going to be incredibly difficult for a defense to fully stop any of those guys, at the, in the running game. So that is a big thing there. I think if you, keep it mixed up, and it's almost like the way I would explain it for just simple terms is you baseball fans out there, you know how you see pitchers that have, say, 3, 4 pitches, sometimes even 5 pitches in the MLB. They'll throw a screwball. They'll throw all sorts of stuff, like a 4-seam, a 2-seam, a cutter, a Vulcan change, whatever it may be, right? A slider, a sinker, a curve, a knuckle curve. There's so many different pitches out there, a palm ball, a fork ball. I could go on. But here's the thing. If you don't mix your pitches well, it doesn't matter. So that's the thing. If you just are constantly, the curveball is my go-to strikeout pitch, that's great. But if I know now that you're going to throw the curveball on every single strikeout opportunity, I think I know that I can guess that you're going to throw the curveball. You got to keep them honest. And so, yes, when you come out of the huddle, you break the huddle, and Tutu Atwell's in the backfield and no one else in the backfield, yeah, Tutu Atwell is running the ball. But it's mixing your pitches. It's giving them different type of bodies to tackle. It's giving them a different type of speed, a different type of shiftiness. Wide receivers run way differently than running backs normally, right? So that's a big thing there, and I think that's how I would use it, and I think that's how the Rams plan on using this running back room, and how the Rams plan on giving reps to Tutu Atwell, who's desperately trying to find those reps in the NFL. I hope that made sense. Sometimes my analogies can be out there and not everyone can follow. Mickey D's over Taco Bell was the right choice last night. I literally finished my food before the rope scene. LOL. Hopefully that's not spoilers. Yeah, right? My 40 was 4.5 and I was considered slow. What? What's for dinner tonight, JE? We had Pizza Hut, which is rare. I haven't had Pizza Hut in years, so... Pizza Hut was had at the Ellenbogen household. I think Katie, and hear me out, I know you talk about the big markets, right? All sorts of big markets. And there's the opportunity, well, Jake, he did play for the Golden State Warriors. Could he go back? I'm just going to tell you this right now. Kevin Durant, I think, is going to go to the Portland Trailblazers. You heard it here first. That is where I think he's going to go. I think he is going to stay. With Damian Lillard's going to stay, and he's going to join him. I think he's going to Portland. That's what I think. That is what I think. I don't know why, unless I misunderstood. He's from DC, right? I don't know why so many people are constantly talking about how he has to go back home. He's not from Washington, like the Washington State. He's from Washington, D.C. That's not, it has nothing to do with why I picked that. I've noticed that a lot of people seem to have him going there for that reason. And I would just say he's going to go there because I think it makes sense for him. I think it's a good fit for him. And I think he would, do a nice job, I think, complementing the game of Damian Lillard, complementing, well, who knows if they would even keep some of the guys like Simons. They might have to trade Simons if they want to get a Durant. But, that's at least what I think. I think they complement each other well. All I want is Chris Paul to get a ring before I die. Well, about that. I don't know if he's going to. I think this was his best chance this year. We'll see, but yeah. Okay, OKC has Chet and 1,000 draft picks. Actually, I read 1,000, but that's a lot of zeros. I don't feel like, was it 100,000, a million? If they don't have the ammo to get KD, nobody does. Yeah, that's a good point. I agree with Falk, him, Roger Craig, and Debo. Only 3 people over 1K receiving yards, 5 touchdowns, 5 rushing touchdowns in a season. Goated. Another guy I want to throw in there that didn't get those stats because the sign of the times was, I totally forgot his name. I love that when you have a train of thought and then it just gets derailed. Like, what? Oh man, he was the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to look up Dolphins pass catching running back and it will come up. I already know. Larry Shankar. It didn't even come up, but that's who I was thinking of. Larry Shankar was like the first of his kind because he would be like that receiving back, right? Let's see. Yeah, I mean, he actually wasn't anywhere near what I thought he was, to be honest with you. So never mind on that. I mean, Shankar was great, but he wasn't a Pro Bowl. I mean, he wasn't a receiver like I thought. So never mind on that. Jake doesn't know what he's talking about. Also, I freaking loved how Homelander was having a Green Goblin Norman Osborn moment. Anthony Starr needs an award after this season. I agree. Totally agree. Is he though? I don't think anyone's too small in the NFL. I mean, Tariq Cohen, the only thing that's holding him back are torn Achilles injuries. The guy's awesome. Like, when he's healthy, Tariq Cohen is so good at 5'6". Jake's in the house. Yes, sir. Tutu should get 2 to 4 targets a game. I doubt he sees more volume than that. Jacob Harris is on deck, too. That's fair. Tavon A. freaking blue. Don't know why so many Rams fans love him. Well, I don't think he blew, because keep this in mind. If Tavon Austin got a fair shot, was drafted by a Sean McVay-led coaching staff, I think he actually would have had a role. The problem is the offense was so pedestrian that drafted him. No one knew how to use him. And by the time Sean McVay got there, he was like, I'm not going to bother with that. Nope. Like, we'll use him as a decoy, but I'm not going to bother with Tavon. And that's what happened. But I think Tavon's better than people give him credit for. I also think he's worse than people give him credit for. There's some people that think he's ungodly good. There's some people that kind of understand that, he's not ungodly good, but hey, he's got some talent. And there's some people that absolutely hate him. I will say this. I'll always sign off on Tavon Austin's personability, and just the fact that he's one of the nicest celebrities or athletes or whatever I've met in person. Super nice. Super good dude. That needs to be said. Tutu was training with Deshaun in off season. Isn't the running game... One second. Isn't the running game role for Tutu a little generous? He simply doesn't have the weight to have carries. Could see him having a role in the screen jet sweep game, though. Yeah, but isn't that also the running game, though, if you really think about it? I mean, not the screen game, but the sweeps. Like the jet sweeps, like those count towards the rushing yard. So I don't know. Like I kind of see him being used as like all over the place. And I'm not really worried about his size. I'm just not. Deshaun trying to make sure we send him a Super Bowl ring. One hit and Tutu is out. I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. He got hurt because of a freak moment where he tripped over his own foot and hurt his shoulder. But yeah, I mean, he survives all the hits. That's the thing. As a linebacker, seeing Tutu in the backfield, knowing how creative Sean McVay is, I'd definitely be sweating a little bit more because he has speed. You have to respect. He's agile, one run move, and you're cooked. Not only that, he's gonna put you on full blast. I mean, you'll be made fun of. You'll be on Shacked and a Fool. Jacob Harris I like, but again, I think, he's got some time to develop. I don't think that they're going to rush it, Do you agree with the Rams generally redshirting their rookies? I know our player development benefits from this, but benching guys like Ernest Jones for Troy Rear doesn't seem logical to me. Yeah, it seems like it's a process for them. It seems like it's a way of life for them. I hear you. I'm not the biggest fan of it, no, but, I feel like they are, so. Oh, boy. We got the yawning. We got the yawning already. I'm not bored, nor am I tired, so I don't know what that is, but. All right. Needed some water. I was losing my voice. Saw a non-spoiler review for Thor. They were saying it's an adventure comedy like the previous Thor movie. Is that a good thing or a bad thing with a villain like Gore? Do we need a serious Thor movie? So I was told from the non-spoiler review that I saw, or whatever, that basically it's a serious, not serious, but then serious film. It's very Ragnarok-esque, but it's got some mad, heartbreaking moments. So I don't know what that means. I think I do know what it means, but it's a non-spoiler review. You will laugh, you will cry, you will be terrified. It's got some elements of horror, so yeah, that's what I've heard about it so far. I cannot wait to see. I'm seeing it next Friday. Why did Taylor Rapp fall off so hard since his rookie year? Injuries. I also think he's just not in the same role. They've asked him to play a completely different role than that, so that's also something. He was, yes. And I think LT was as well. He did. It would be. That absolutely. Jake, been hearing lots of OBJ coming back to the Rams. Is this reality or smokescreen, Jake? Because I'll be delayed to have him back. I don't think it's any smokescreen. The Rams don't really have anything to gain by making up stuff that he's coming back. I think the plan is to bring him back, and they want him back. It's just I don't think it's going to happen right now. What was Jeff Fisher offensive philosophy? Never understood his reason they play Fisher ball. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't know this day. I mean, his offensive philosophy was get an offensive coordinator that has no experience being an offensive coordinator and run the ball and play good defense and play 80s style football where, you don't score a lot of points and neither does the other team. They wanted to win games like 17-13, not ever score 35 or anything like that. I don't know. It was weird. Rams hot. The Ben Skoranek will take over Van Jefferson on the depth chart. Is that a hot take, Shavante? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Because Ben Sco is not taking over Van Jefferson. Not after his 800-yard season. Any more news on Quinn? Nothing on Quinn, no. I'll let you know if we have anything. As of right now, do you think Bobby Wagner is better than Vaughn? They play different positions. I think Bobby Wagner is more useful in the Rams scheme than Vaughn because I think Bobby Wagner gives the Rams a linebacker that they've never had before, although they might have actually just gotten that with Ernest Jones. So now they have two linebackers that, kind of guys that they've never had before. So they have those guys. You have Justin Hollins, and he was playing outstanding football before he got hurt. I think a lot of people forget about that. Emergency ice on Dick. Yes, I'm going to have to go and get that right now because, I'm just going to have to. We're running out, though. We are definitely running out. This appears to be the last one. So, yeah. For you ASMR people, you can hear the bubbles. Yeah, this is the blue raspberry one. It's fire. Would you pay Lamar Jackson a big contract without his mobility? He's a pretty average quarterback. Was comparing him and Baker Mayfield's stats passing, and they're almost identical. I would absolutely pay Lamar Jackson. He is what today's football needs to be, and he won the MVP in his second season in the league. I think he's somewhat underrated because of that. So as long as he stays healthy, I would definitely pay him. Jake, is it out of the realm of possibility that Les Snead will make a last-minute trade for someone good or a Rams reunion? No, absolutely, it's not out of the realm of possibility at all. There's no reason to ever assume that it would be. But it has to make sense, and right now I don't know if it makes sense. Is there a former Rams GM or coach you feel they didn't get a fair shot or was fired too early? Ooh, I like this one. I would probably say if I'm looking at a coach that was fired, and hear me out when I say this, but I would honestly say, because I said it the moment they were going to fire him, I was like, it's a mistake, and maybe I'm wrong, but I wasn't a big fan of the Spags firing. Because Spagnuolo went through some stuff, and was he the best, when it came to fourth down decisions? No, he would punt on 4th and inches every time. But I don't feel like he had the Rams on a bad trajectory. If I'm not, and I'm going to bring it up, if I'm not mistaken, the Rams the first year were terrible with no quarterback, right? Bulger was at the end of his career with the Rams, all of that. 2010, they get Sam Bradford. They're one game away from making the playoffs, and of course they shit the bed in Seattle against Charlie Whitehurst. Okay, so they go 7-9 that year. That hurt. The next year, they add Josh McDaniels. This offense looks like it's starting to click. They have that no-huddle performance against the Giants, and then it's like, I don't know if it was because of the offense that they were putting in and how complicated it was or what, but everyone got hurt that year. So I don't know how you can really fault Steve Spagnuolo, with that, because again, like I said, I understand he's not the best head coach ever, right? And I'm glad McVay's there. But what I don't think is fair is that Spagnuolo had this team going on the right track. And I understand they went 1-15 the first year, and then the third year they went 2-14. But they had that early season, like Sam Bradford gets that high ankle sprain, and I really think they were on to something in 2010. It's easy for us now because, hindsight's 2020. It's easier for now to just trash him. but I do think Spagnuolo was unfairly treated. Because I understand he went 11-41, 10-38 with the Rams. I get that, but I wouldn't have minded seeing him another year before they hired Jeff Fisher. Hiring Jeff Fisher in 2012, I was not a fan of. I want Todd Bowles. Not saying Todd Bowles would have worked out. Maybe he would have. Maybe he wouldn't have. But yeah, I wanted Todd Bowles, and when they got Jeff Fisher, I was annoyed. But that's just my thoughts. I just think 2010 they got on somewhat of a right track there, and then 2011 they had ridiculous number of injuries, and so he was gone after that. But good question. Good question. Still mad when Fisher ran the ball at the goal line the last second instead of kicking a field goal against the Lions in 2016. Oh, God. Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. That was, wow. I wonder what year 2 installs McVay and Stafford implement. And also wonder how it affects overall look of the 2022 offense. Yeah, I think they're going to play around with it. They'll add stuff to it. I think they're going to be definitely more, I'm into baseball right now. How do you feel about my guy, Julio Rodriguez? Well, I didn't check him out before, so I'll check him out now. He's on the Mariners. Let's see. So he's batting .272, 9 home runs. He's got a 2.3 WAR. He's got 72 hits on the season, 34 runs, 33 RBIs, 19 stolen bases. OPS is around 766. Okay. He's having a pretty solid year. I don't know who would be in contention for Rookie of the Year. I know he's the one that you mentioned, right? I'm curious who's in contention for it. He's the favorite. Based on covers.com, it looks like he's the favorite. Julio Rodriguez, Jeremy Pena from the Astros, Bobby Witt Jr. from the Royals. Yeah. Yep. Interesting. Well, sounds like he's gonna win Rookie of the Year as long as he doesn't fall off a cliff. Looks like he's doing well. I can't see anyone beating him out. Maybe Pena, because he's slashing .277, .333, and .471. He's got 9 home runs. I think it's between him and Pena. Loved your Nick Scott Debo clip. Got great reaction from us Ram content junkies. Yeah, I'm going to start posting those things. I mean, I understand it's not my content, but they're shorts, so I can do it. And I'm not monetizing off it. It's just for fun. It's just to get new eyes on the channel and for the people that actually enjoy, watching highlights. Well, we're not a highlight channel, but we do have highlights being thrown in there. Plus, I love to throw in my own taste in music and open people up to new tastes of music. Not saying that they don't already know. POD's Boom. Everyone knows that song. But I felt like that made the most sense for that specific video. I'm so annoyed with the whole Cup had one good season narrative. It wasn't for an ACL tear, he would have had another 1,000-yard season under his belt. He's also had a lot of 800-yard seasons. Yeah, it's going to be constantly said. It is what it is, But, I mean, they're wrong, but, whatever. If only we could have seen Stedman and Tavon in today's offense. And I just hit my microphone. But, I mean, it's true, Stedman would have been so good in McVay's offense. Could the Rams have gotten anything better from the Bobby Woods trade? Absolutely, but it was to take on Woods' deal, so. What do you make of Jalen finally having surgery this week on his shoulder? Seems like it should have been it should have happened months ago. It was probably an opinion. He probably got it based on the professional opinion he got. So if like the doctors were saying he shouldn't get it until this time, that's why he didn't. He waited. What's up, brother? Driving up to SD, listening in. Is it just me, or does anyone else see Bryce Hawkins? I don't even know what I'm saying. Bryce Perkins taking over backup job from Wolf this year. Bryce has crazy athleticism and tangibles. I don't know. I think they're going to keep them both, but I mean, I wouldn't rule it out. I don't think that they're going to get rid of Wolford, but Aaron, I mean, maybe you're right. Who knows? It's something I keep seeing. So, who do you think starts next to Donald at defensive tackle? Oh, well, I mean, that's going to be A'Shawn Robinson and Greg Gaines. No doubt. What's your opinion about if the Chargers should pay Derwin James a big contract? He's in the final year of his contract, and if you were the Rams, would you make an offer to pair him up with Ramsey? I'd consider it for sure, but I do have issues and concerns with his injury history. He's hurt all the time. Very, very talented, but he's hurt all the time. Lesney was hired in 2012, has been with the Rams for 10 years. That's crazy. Starting offensive line right now for the Rams, I got Noteboom at left tackle. At left guard, I have David Edwards. Center, I have Brian Allen. Right guard, I have Logan Bruss. And right tackle, I have Rob Havenstein, which in my opinion, on paper, is a top 10 offensive line. I'm covering two teams that have two top 10 offensive lines, in my opinion. I don't know if that's a hot take. I think Evans is very consistent. When Godwin is healthy, I think he's more explosive. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, it appears that way. Who's the one draft pick the Rams passed on that you wish they would have drafted? George Kittle, every day, all day, every day. I know that was repetitive, but yeah, definitely George Kittle. With Stafford nursing his arm early on, the backup quarterbacks Wolford and Perkins should get a lot of reps. Do you agree Perkins has a higher ceiling, more athletic than Wolford? Will probably be QB2 by game 1. I don't know if I agree with all of that, Ramelia, but I will say that there is some definite truth to the higher ceiling and more athleticism. Wolford is older, so that's something to keep in mind. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the same band, and it was very much overplayed. Boom is great. POD is cool. I don't listen to him a ton. They did Rey Mysterio's entrance in WWE, and that's how I got into them. But, yeah, I mean, they're not bad. I'm hoping. I'd love to see two backs. Everyone knows that. Follow up on my DT question. Can't we only start one of Gaines' A'Shawn with the signing of Wagner? I doubt we see single inside linebacker defense this season. We tend to play nickel a lot. I mean, I see what you're saying. I would expect, in base, that's what you're going to see for those three. A'Shawn or Greg, I'm probably going to go with Greg because they're probably throwing if they're using two guys down there. So yeah, I'll say Greg. Excuse me. If you could make a trade between the Jets and Rams, who would you trade? Oh my God, you are really just nailing it with the questions. All right, this is good. Who would I trade? This is a good question. Damn. This is a real good question. Huh. Quarterback, I'm good. Running back, I'm good. Wide receiver, good. Tight end, good. Offensive line, we're good. Defensive line. Linebacker. Corner. Safety. Problem is the Rams don't have many needs, but I got to make it work for both sides. Because otherwise I would just be like, oh yeah, Carl Lawson would be great to have on the edge. Damn. Well, I'll say, no, I wouldn't even do that. These teams are kind of similar, honestly, right? Think about it. Quarterback is different because the Rams have an older quarterback who's up top, whereas the Jets have a younger quarterback who's trying to get to the top, right? Like he's down here. He's going to work his way, build his way up. Then running backs, very similar, very depth filled. Wide receivers, plenty of talent all around. Tight ends, probably give the nod to the Jets. They got 2 proven tight ends. I mean, we really like Kendall Bland. We like Bryson Hopkins, Jacob Harris. But aside from Tyler Higbee, those guys aren't really proven. Oh, that's tough, man. This is a good question. Offensive line? Ooh. Damn, dude. This is hard. Offensive line, I think they're very similar. Defensive line. Because, I mean, I'd love to see John Franklin Myers back on the Rams, but it has to make sense for the Jets. I wouldn't just make a trade if it didn't make sense for... Oh, dude. This is tough. Wow. I'm so stumped on this. Dear God, I cannot... Crazy. I mean, just like looking at the Jets depth chart, like what I have set for their 53-man roster, I just don't... Like, safety, they're good. Because safety, they got LaMarcus Joyner, who they brought back to start. They have Jordan Whitehead, who they signed. Ashton Davis, you California fans know, they like him. And he's taken a little bit longer to develop, but they give up a pretty big pick for him. Jason Pinnock is somebody they like. I mean, I really only have them keeping those 4. And then corner, Sauce Gardner, Bryce Hall, DJ Reed, Michael Carter, Brandon Eccles. Linebacker, CJ Mosley, Quincy Williams, Jamie Sherwood, Marcel Harris, and Hamza Nasruddin. I mean, defensive line, the Rams are pretty set. The problem is I don't know if there's a trade here to be made that would help the Rams. I mean, yeah, I don't think so. I do not think so. I mean, there's just not, because it's got to help both teams, and I just don't see one here that's going to help both teams. Man. Um, this is crazy. I'm going to say there isn't a trade. There's not one trade you could do that would benefit both teams. There's players that you would like on the Jets from the Rams if you're a Jets fan, and there are players that you would like on the Rams from the Jets if you are a Rams fan. But there isn't a trade that makes any sense for both sides. If you want to go for guys that didn't work out, I'll give you this. You ready? This is the only trade I can really think of. The Jets bolster their offensive line by going after a former third-round pick out of the Rams in Bobby Evans. And the Rams decide to throw caution to the wind and get Denzel Mims, a guy that they may have liked when they picked Van Jefferson, guy that maybe they think would be better in their system, somebody that they can develop, somebody that gives insurance. Like Van Jefferson insurance, if he does develop, like, that would be the only one that makes sense to me. I was considering Taylor Rapp, but they have so many safeties. I don't know. At corner, the Rams are loaded at corner. Too many guys. Linebacker, I considered, Traven Howard, although no one claimed him, so I didn't see the point of that. And I love John Franklin Myers. I'd absolutely love him on the Rams, but it wouldn't make sense to the Jets. He's their best pass rusher statistically. So, Carl Lawson, no, that doesn't make any sense. You didn't just wait for him to get healthy only to trade him away to the team that just won the Super Bowl. Yeah. I think it's Denzel Mims for Bobby Evans. There you go. There's the trade. It took me forever. We finally got it. We finally crossed the bridge. Okay, Rams question. How many yards and touchdowns do you think my guy Tutu has? And for what do you think his longest reception will be for? So Tutu Atwell. Let me just check what I have on my projections. All right, so Atwell, I don't want to spoil it. I have him getting 4. I don't want to spoil the yards, but I have him getting 4 total touchdowns. 4. Longest reception I don't have. I would imagine it's going to be around like 40 yards. I have no idea. When I travel to New York City, I go by train or I drive. But yeah, there's no point of flying because it's only like 2.5 to 3 hours away from me. Good question though. I don't think so. I definitely don't think so. The Jets kicker is Greg Zuerlein, so I think so. I was thinking about that, and while Quinnen Williams would be interesting, are the Rams going to trade like Greg Gaines or, A'Shawn Robinson? I don't know. I think that they would probably leave well enough alone. Yes. Yes. I think they will. We'll see. They've been talking about it for a while. I think Zach Wilson's going to have the best season from the second years. No worries. I appreciate it. Thought-provoking. That's what we call it. Be sure to hit the thumbs up if you're enjoying these thought-provoking questions and answers and whatever. Jake, do you think the Rams' offensive line will start slow, give us some sacks here and there, but eventually they mesh together and have great chemistry? I wouldn't be surprised if they start off slow, but that's not what I'm expecting. But good question. No, they love him, and that's the thing. He's got such a great chemistry and rapport with offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur from his days with the 49ers. He wouldn't even be an option. Brian Allen was in the Pro Bowl last year, or he didn't play in the Pro Bowl, but he was listed as a Pro Bowler, so I don't think he needs to improve. I think if he stays the way he was last year, they'll be fine. Anything better is cake. All right, so someone had the idea, Denzel Mims. Mims for Skoranek. I don't know. I don't know who was winning that trade, to be honest. I would love John Franklin Myers. I don't think they would do that. Yeah, that's what I thought. I just think he wasn't ready for the moment, and that's okay. He was flushed into a situation not really any seventh round picks are flushed into, so you just got to keep the understanding there. What's up, Camper? Yeah, I'm definitely down. Let me know. What's up, Ray? I agree. Totally agree, Preston. I think the Skoranek hate is a little ridiculous. He's a seventh round pick. Seventh round picks don't even make the roster on most of these teams. So the fact that he not only made the roster, but then put himself in a position to eventually get snaps on the offense, he's ahead of it, man. He's ahead of the curve. Say what you will, he screwed up, whatever. They won the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter, you know? If they didn't get to the Super Bowl, they lost it because of him, that's different. But so, I mean, the Jets' offense is going to be more run approach, probably more balanced, right? They're going to look more balanced. They're going to go with more of a balanced approach. They want to run two tight end sets, run 12 personnel. You get it. But the Rams, I think, are going to go away from the 12 personnel and maybe focus more on the 21 personnel. That's what I've been hearing. So 21 is when you have two running backs in the backfield. The first number in that the first digit in that number in the personnel grouping, when you hear 11 personnel, that's one tight end and one running back. If you hear 12 personnel, it's one running back and two tight ends. 13 personnel is one running back and three tight ends, right? Because it's the one as the part of the number. So the first part of the number is how many running backs are in the backfield. So you could line up in a 30 personnel or something. Like that is totally possible to do. But it's called a full house set. But here's the thing though, okay? You don't always want to do that because now you don't have a tight end on the field, you know? It's mix and match. All the rules tell you are where you have to line up, how you have to line up, and how many line up. Not who goes where, not how many of certain position, but how many in total. You have to have certain amount of guys on the line of scrimmage, all of that. So the Jets, their thought process with Mike LaFleur was we want to start running this 12 personnel grouping. That's why they went out and they spent equal dollars to go out and get Tyler Conklin and the Cincinnati Bengals tight end CJ Uzomah because they both would complement each other. That's the key. And they added Jeremy Ruckert in the draft for the long term. But now they can start actually running their offense, their desired offense, 12 personnel, running the ball. That's what they want to do, be the balanced, use play action, open up the bootleg action, all of that for Zach Wilson. It's why I think that he's going to have a really good year. They're trying to make things better for Zach Wilson, right? We saw the Rams go to 12 personnel grouping last year, sometimes even 13, right? We saw the extra offensive linemen come in, and now I understand people are like, why is it a 13 if an extra offensive lineman comes in? There's no tight end. The offensive lineman, that's the extra, so to speak, the sixth offensive lineman, is now going to line up in line as a tight end for that, specific play. And so for that reason, it's considered 13 personnel. They act as another tight end on the line. So the hope is that he goes more towards 21 personnel, the Rams do. But the Jets are going to go more towards 12. So to answer your question, Dingus, compared to the two, the Jets are going to run more of a 4-3, and the Jets are going to run that 11, or not 11. They're going to try to run the 12 personnel grouping. What's up, Preston? Yeah. DMs on Twitter or whatever. I remember there used to be DMs on YouTube years ago. I don't know why they got rid of them. Well, I kind of know why they got rid of them. I still would advocate for DMs on YouTube. I'd be totally for that, but that's just me. Worst quarterback, Rams quarterback ever, Tony Banks. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. They're way worse. I felt like Nick Foles was terrible. I hated Nick Foles on the Rams. But I mean, you have Jeff Smoker, you have Todd Brandstater, you have Gus Farrat. There's so many others. Do you think Stafford will be a consensus top 5 quarterback after this season? I see way too many rankings underrating him. I still think they're going to underrate him. I still think if they win a Super Bowl, even still, they'll underrate him. I don't know. They will. What's up, GOAT? Also, do you feel confident in Lewis, Hollins, and Garrett, or should we trade for a veteran edge, namely former Ram Robert Quinn? I feel confident. Like I said, Quinn is going to be a mid-season trade, I think, if they even go that route. But if those guys play hard, they play well, if Hollins gets back to his old stuff like last year before he got hurt, they're going to be fine. Yeah, that would be something. That would be an interesting trade. Yeah, I mean, I still think there are times where McVay tries way too hard to manage the game and just play not to lose. I still think that. Just the usual stuff that you would critique him for. Third down and whatever, just running the ball. When it's not working, abandoning the run when you need it. Some of the goal line stuff, they get way too cute at the goal line. I don't know. Those are the things I've criticized, and I just don't feel like he's improved a ton in. But it's not that big of a deal because, like I said, I mean, he's like one of the best head coaches ever. No, I hear you. They want to keep hating on him and underrating him, whatever. It's going to make him easier to be obtained in those. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Absolutely agree. No one is talking about it. Well, I'm talking about it on my channel, but there are other people talking about it. But I really don't feel like the Jets are being talked about enough. What former Rams quarterback would have been better with a better offensive system, and head coach? Great question. If Austin Davis was with Sean McVay, he would have been great. I'm going to say that right now. If Austin Davis was Sean McVay, he would have been great. Yeah, so I'm thinking we're going to do one tomorrow and one on Sunday. We're also going to do a live stream tomorrow as well, so. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I'll believe it when I see it. Oh, I do too. I definitely agree. Definitely agree. Well, guys, we've been live for over an hour. We're getting to that point. I might game later, but I feel like we're getting to our natural conclusion. I don't know what it is, but I always Bradford, yeah. I always kind of sense when I should stop a live stream. I'm getting that sense now. So I'll answer one more question here. I see Dingus. What have you learned about Stafford in his first year with the Rams that you didn't know? Anything you think he could improve on? It's hard to say. I didn't really learn a ton because I already knew him so well. I watched so many games of his and just studied him with the Lions. I mean, he was really what I expected, and I can't stress that enough. Like, everything I expected. I wouldn't say and more because I feel like that just doesn't do him justice. Like, I think I really expected. I had ridiculous expectations as we wrap up this live stream. I had such ridiculous expectations that when he was brought in to the Rams organization, I said they were going to win the Super Bowl right after that. Like, I believed it immediately. And I'm not one to typically say the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. I tend to be more conservative with my approach and go with like I think I picked the Packers and Ravens 2 years in a row. So that's me. But now I have, since Stafford's been there, now I've picked them twice in a row. I'm just telling you, I really believe it. And I was looking back and I had some videos last year or whatever. And it was like, I'm not giving up on Matthew Stafford. Like, they went through that losing streak, and I was like, I'm still not worried about Stafford. I still believe they're going to win it. I kept saying that and reiterating it, and sure enough, that's what happened. So, yeah. I have seen it. It looks interesting. I want to see Black Phone. But hey, folks, I think that's going to do it for this night. We did 5 in a row, and we're going to vie for 6 in a row. We might go gaming later tonight. So if anyone's interested in that, I might stream. But that's going to do it for me. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a Friday night, and I'll see you guys real soon. Later, folks.